Hi there and welcome to the Blackest Inktober day 8. And today the prompt word from the official Inktober list is Frail. So I thought I'd be ballsy enough to tackle one of the most iconic images of human frailty in all of Christendom and art history. So here we're going to do the martyrdom of Saint Sebastian, and I'm going to talk a bit about mental health, depression, art, and frailty. And I've done some very basic sketching here. And of course I do know the image. And let's see, okay. Now the story of Saint. Let's just get the arrows in first, because they need to be precise. Turn this one up there, have one there, one here. I don't know if there's a set number of arrows that Saint Sebastian is hit by, but we have 6, we'll do 7. 7 seems like a good number of arrows. Now the thing with the martyrdom of Saint Sebastian is that this is not actually the picture of the martyrdom of Saint Sebastian. Saint Sebastian's story goes something like he was a man from Gaul, in about the 3rd century AD, and he went to Rome, and he went to the army and served in the army under 2 different emperors. He became a captain under Emperor, what's his name? Diocletus? Let me see, I have notes. Diocletian. I don't know that emperor, but he was an emperor apparently. And he secretly rescued Christian captives and converted Roman soldiers to Christianity. So he gets captured for spreading Christianity, and he gets sentenced by Emperor Diocletian to be shot to death with arrows. The archers shoot him a bunch of times and leave him for dead, but he doesn't die. So the image we always get as the martyrdom is not actually the martyrdom. It is one of the miracles. So an old Christian widow finds him. I don't know if she was old. Oh, let's pretend she was old. And brings him home and nurses him back to health. And in the process there is a miracle where he gives a blind girl her sight back, and he regains his strength. And what does he do when he's all good and fine again, healthy again? Does he run away from Emperor Diocletian and start a new life, preaching the gospel or something like that? No, not at all. He goes up to Emperor Diocletian and says, "Oi, governor," and is beaten to death with clubs, and his body, his corpse, is hung in a sewer, and that's the martyrdom. Okay? And this image has become iconic of showing human frailty, because there's something so visceral about this often young, gorgeous male body pierced by arrows, yet still alive. And when I saw that the prompt word was frail, somehow this image came in my head. But if you look at the story, it is a story of strength, of course. It is about first the conviction of Saint Sebastian, trying to convert others to his belief. Say what you might about that. And then the strength in not just surviving being pierced by countless of arrows, or 7 in this case, but and not just the strength of being nursed back to health, but the real strength is going right up to the face of the one convicting him to death and basically saying, "Oi, governor, I don't think that's what they said, but we'll stick with that." So the strength in the story is not surviving arrows. The strength is going straight back to the source that already beat you and facing it. And well, you can say he really shouldn't have done that, but and that would be logical, but he did, or the legend says, and the story, the iconic image says. And that's sort of brings me into what I wanted to talk about with regards to art and depression. Because depression, more than being just a mental problem or a sickness, disease, is to me seems to be a frailty. So one thing is the natural cycles which I go through as a bipolar, or as someone diagnosed with bipolar condition. The other thing is how my body and brain reacts to different kinds of pressure. Now, I pride myself with dealing with pressure rather well. And I even thrive under some sort of pressure and some sort of chaos and adversity. And sometimes I really do my best during really hard times. But the quite normal pressure of everyday life, I'm not very good at. So I just to use a very concrete and recent example, this morning I woke up with a splitting migraine, sort of a totally destabilizing migraine, and the reasons for it were quite obvious to me. One reason is that I've ruined my back the last month or so, and it's not all well again, so I have a lot of tension in my lower back and in my neck. Another reason is that I drank not much, but I drank a bit of whiskey yesterday, just to help me get through the night, help me get through the last evening's Inktober session, just to loosen up and be a bit more alive. And whiskey can add a hangover, but I didn't really drink enough to get a hangover. But what I really got a hangover for was just basically the kids being home for autumn vacation and spending every day for the last 5 days, 6 days, around people all the time, which for me is such a hard thing for my body and my psyche that eventually it will lead to a pretty severe physical hangover. Just daily life, just being around people. And yesterday I talked about experiencing the world as wondrous and enchanted, which is good. Of course it's good. But it also leaves me very open to all sorts of impulses. And I'm frail. I don't deal well with the pressures of everyday life. And it knocks me down until I'm physically fatigued and physically crushed, I would say. And often my depressive periods, even if they come at a regular seasonal time, they still appear after I've pushed myself just a little too far socially, so that I get one of these blasted hangovers. Sometimes they're just bad enough that if I'm depressed and unmotivated, I will use them as an excuse to not do anything for a day or two. And other times, like today, they are so bad that I really can't do anything. But a lot of painkillers and coffee and some ice cream and some cold showers later, I'm fit enough to go up to the emperor and say, "Oi, governor!" and hope he doesn't kill me. He doesn't martyr me. And that's sort of what I wanted to point out today, is that I feel that a lot of artists are very frail indeed, and that a lot of us sort of, not only what I talked about yesterday, that we sort of perceive, or that me at least, not only that I perceive the world in an intense way that's exhausting, but that just being in the world exposes me and leaves me raw and open and frail when the world attacks, as the world will. The world will always attack. That's its nature. And when the world attacks, I have no protection. But what makes me strong is that very frailty, because I get beat down again and again, and I get back up. As the poet said, I get shut down, and I don't remember that song. And that's sort of the key to for me to remember is, I am frail. I should watch out for myself, even in ways that don't seem all that logical to other people. And I will, no matter what, get shut down again and again and again. But I do get up. And I do go to the emperor and say, "Oi, governor," even though it's stupid. I do it again and again. Ooh. And that's the part of the art process for me. And it's really relevant to how, not just how I live my daily life, but to the art. Now, Jan Van Eck says, "Wow, Kim, this is really looking beautiful." Claim. So this drawing is claimed. Thank you, Jan. One of my one of the most important things for artists, I think, in general, not just me, is that we all get shot down again and again and again and again. And those who manage to get back up are the ones who survive and eventually become good. And this is not just about... It can be about your parents not accepting your art, or it can be about your vicious art teacher who says bad words to you, or it can be about galleries ignoring you, or the audience not getting you, and it can be about all those things. But most usually it's just about drawing something or trying to draw something, and then realizing that you're not good enough to do what you want in the way you want to, and that's crushing. When you always think you're good enough. At least I always think sometimes I think I'm the best, and then I sit down with a paper and I realize no, I'm really not good enough to get what's inside my head and inside my heart and get it on the paper in a satisfactory way. And each time I draw, it is like getting shot with arrows again and again. And you have to nurse yourself back to health, but you also go up and go right back at it. And more than... I believe in talent, I believe in skill, I believe in training, but more than anything I believe in perseverance. And I guess that's why we remember the icon of Saint Sebastian. Not because of his human frailty, but because of it as a symbol of perseverance. So thank you for watching today's Blackest Inktober. That was day 8, and I will be back tomorrow. Cheers!